The conference room fell silent as Emma Chen, CEO of Horizon Technologies, stared at Mark Reynolds, her newest project manager. His 4-year-old daughter Lily had just burst into the boardroom, running straight to Emma with outstretched arms, crying, "Mommy." The executives exchanged uncomfortable glances as Emma's question hung in the air, "Mark, why does your daughter call me Mommy?" His answer would change everything. If you've ever wondered how unexpected connections can transform lives, stay with me until the end. And if this story touches your heart, please consider liking this video and subscribing to our channel for more stories that remind us of our shared humanity. Mark Reynolds never planned on being a single father. 3 years ago, his wife Sophia died unexpectedly during childbirth complications, leaving him alone with newborn Lily. The grief nearly destroyed him, but his daughter needed him. He learned to change diapers with one hand while answering work emails with the other. He memorized the lyrics to every lullaby that would soothe her to sleep. He became both mother and father, though he never felt adequate at either role. When Horizon Technologies offered him a project manager position with better pay and flexible hours, Mark jumped at the opportunity. The interview with Emma Chen, the company's formidable CEO known for her brilliant mind and exacting standards, had been intimidating. She was younger than him, only 35, but had already built a tech empire from the ground up. Her sleek office with its floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city skyline made Mark feel small in his department store suit, resume trembling slightly in his hands. "Tell me about yourself, Mr. Reynolds," Emma had said, her voice cool and professional. Mark had rehearsed his answer, planning to highlight his decade of experience and management skills. Instead, he found himself saying, "I'm a single dad. My daughter Lily is my world. Everything I do is for her." Something in Emma's expression had shifted then, a momentary softening around her eyes before her professional mask returned. She hired him on the spot. The first few months at Horizon were a whirlwind. Mark excelled at his job, but balancing work with single parenthood remained a constant struggle. His babysitter called in sick frequently. Daycare closed for holidays. Lily caught every cold circulating through her preschool. One particularly difficult morning, Mark's regular sitter cancelled last minute. His parents lived across the country, and his sister couldn't help. With a critical presentation scheduled that day, Mark made a desperate decision: he brought Lily to work. Just for a few hours, he promised the receptionist, who looked skeptical but buzzed them through. "She has her coloring books. She'll be quiet." Mark settled Lily in his office with snacks and activities, praying she would stay occupied during his presentation. He was halfway through his slides when his office door creaked open. Lily stood there, teddy bear clutched to her chest, lower lip trembling. "I'm sorry," Mark stammered to the room of executives. "My babysitter cancelled." "Continue the presentation, Mr. Reynolds," Emma interrupted, rising from her seat. To everyone's surprise, she walked over to Lily, knelt down to her level, and whispered something that made the little girl smile. Then, taking Lily's hand, Emma led her back to Mark's office. When Mark finished his presentation an hour later, he rushed back to find Emma sitting cross-legged on his office floor, helping Lily build a tower of paper clips and binder clips. "Ms. Chen, I'm so sorry." "Emma," she corrected. "And don't apologize. Your presentation was excellent, and Lily has been teaching me about dinosaurs." She stood, smoothing her designer skirt. "My mother was a single parent too. I understand the challenges." After that day, something changed. Emma began checking in on Mark regularly, asking about Lily. When Mark mentioned struggling to find reliable childcare, Emma introduced a company initiative for an on-site daycare facility, something employees had been requesting for years. "It makes business sense," she explained during the announcement. "We lose valuable talent when parents can't balance work and family." But Mark noticed how her eyes sought his in the crowd, how her smile softened when he mouthed, "Thank you." The daycare center opened 3 months later. Lily loved it, especially because Ms. Emma would sometimes visit during lunch breaks, bringing books to read to the children. Mark noticed how Emma, normally so composed and distant with her employees, transformed around the kids, especially Lily. Her laugh became freer, her gestures more animated. One evening, Mark worked late finishing a proposal. When he went to collect Lily from daycare, he found it closed. Panicking, he called the director. Emma picked her up, the director explained. She said you knew. Mark found them in Emma's office, Lily napping on the couch while Emma worked quietly at her desk. The daycare was closing, Emma explained in a whisper. I thought I'd help. I hope that's okay. It became a pattern. When Mark had late meetings, Emma would take Lily to her office or sometimes to the park across from the building. Lily adored these outings, coming back with stories about Ms. Emma and the adventures they had. She showed me how to feed ducks, Lily told Mark one evening. And she knows all the constellations, Daddy. All of them. Mark noticed other changes too. Emma began bringing homemade lunches for both him and Lily. I was cooking anyway, she claimed, though Mark suspected the elaborate bento boxes took considerable effort. She remembered Lily's allergies and preferences. She knew which stories made Lily laugh and which stuffed animal she couldn't sleep without. 6 months into this new arrangement, Mark invited Emma to Lily's birthday party, a small gathering at their apartment with a few kids from daycare. To his surprise, she accepted. Emma arrived early, arms laden with gifts and party supplies. I might have gone overboard, she admitted, looking almost embarrassed as she set down bags from expensive toy stores. Throughout the party, Mark kept finding his gaze drawn to Emma. She looked different outside the office, more relaxed in jeans and a casual sweater, her hair loose around her shoulders instead of in its usual tight bun. She helped serve cake, wiped sticky fingers, and seemed genuinely delighted by the chaos of excited 4-year-olds. When the other guests had gone, Emma stayed to help clean up. Lily, overtired and overstimulated, had a meltdown when she couldn't find her new stuffed unicorn. I want sparkles, she wailed, tears streaming down her flushed face. Mark, exhausted himself, was about to lose patience when Emma stepped in. She knelt beside Lily, speaking softly. Let's be detectives, Lily. Where did you last see sparkles? Together they searched, Emma making it into a game until they found the toy under a pile of wrapping paper. Lily's tears immediately stopped, replaced by a beaming smile. Thank you, Mommy, she said, hugging Emma tightly. The room froze. Mark saw Emma's eyes widen in shock. Lily, oblivious to the tension, skipped off to play with her recovered toy. I'm so sorry, Mark began. She's never, I don't know why. It's fine, Emma said quickly, her voice strained. Children say things. It doesn't mean anything. But something had shifted. Emma made excuses to leave shortly after, and in the following weeks, she became distant. She stopped picking Lily up from daycare. The lunch deliveries ceased. When they passed in the hallway, her smile seemed forced. Mark missed her, not just for the help she provided, but for her presence in their lives. Lily asked for her constantly. When is Mommy coming to see us? She would ask, and each time, Mark's heart broke a little more. Emma isn't your mommy, sweetheart, he tried to explain. She's Daddy's boss. Lily's lower lip would tremble. But she feels like a mommy. After 3 weeks of this new distance, Mark couldn't stand it anymore. He requested a meeting with Emma, listed officially as a project update, but with a very different agenda in mind. Emma's assistant showed him into her office, where she sat behind her imposing desk, professional and untouchable once more. Mr. Reynolds, she greeted him formally. What can I help you with? Why have you been avoiding us? He asked directly. Emma's composure faltered. I haven't been. You have, Mark insisted. Ever since Lily called you Mommy, you've disappeared from our lives. Emma looked down at her perfectly manicured hands. It wasn't appropriate. I'm your employer, Mark. There are boundaries. Is that really it? Or are you scared? Her head snapped up, eyes flashing. Excuse me? I think you're scared of how much you care about Lily. About us. Emma stood abruptly. This conversation is inappropriate. Lily misses you, Mark continued, standing his ground. I miss you too. I can't be her mother, Mark, Emma said, her voice breaking slightly. I can't replace Sophia. No one's asking you to replace anyone, Mark said gently. But you've become important to us. To both of us. Emma turned away, looking out her window at the city below. I never planned on children, she said quietly. My career has always come first. I'm not. I don't know how to be what Lily needs. You already are what she needs, Mark replied. You're kind to her. You make her feel special and loved. That's all any child wants. Emma remained silent for a long moment. And what do you want, Mark? The question hung between them, loaded with unspoken possibilities. I want someone who understands that Lily will always come first for me, he said carefully. Someone who sees that as a strength, not a limitation. Someone who makes both of us feel less alone in the world. He took a deep breath. I think that someone might be you. Before Emma could respond, the door to her office burst open. Lily ran in, followed by an apologetic assistant. I'm sorry, Miss Chen. She got away from me. But Emma wasn't listening. Her eyes were fixed on Lily, who had stopped in the middle of the room, suddenly shy. Hi, Lily said in a small voice. Hi, Emma replied, her professional mask completely gone. Are you mad at me? Lily asked, her eyes wide and worried. Emma knelt down, eye level with the little girl. Why would I be mad at you? Because I called you mommy and daddy said you're not my mommy. Emma glanced up at Mark, then back to Lily. I'm not mad at you, Lily. Not at all. Then why don't you come see us anymore? Emma took a deep breath. Sometimes grown-ups get confused about their feelings. I needed some time to think. About what? About how much I care about you. And your dad. Lily considered this seriously. My real mommy is in heaven, she said matter-of-factly. Daddy showed me pictures. She was pretty. Yes, she was, Emma agreed softly. Daddy says she watches over me. But she can't read me stories or take me to the park. Lily stepped closer to Emma. I think maybe people can have different kinds of mommies. Mark watched as tears filled Emma's eyes. In that moment, she wasn't the intimidating CEO, she was simply a woman confronting unexpected emotions. That's a very wise thought, Lily, Emma said, her voice thick. So can I still call you mommy sometimes? Not all the times. Just the special times. Emma looked up at Mark, a question in her eyes. He nodded slightly, his own vision blurring with tears. I would be honored, Emma told Lily, opening her arms. Lily rushed into them, and Emma held her close, eyes closed as if memorizing the feeling. That moment in Emma's office changed everything. The three of them began spending time together outside of work, weekend trips to the zoo, movie nights at Mark's apartment, picnics in the park. Emma's initial awkwardness around mothering faded as she found her own way to connect with Lily. 6 months later, Emma was offered a position on the board of a major tech conglomerate, a dream opportunity that would require extensive travel. Mark prepared himself for her to choose her career, as she always had before. Instead, she turned it down. Why? He asked when she told him. This is what you've always wanted. Emma smiled, watching Lily play in the distance. What I want has changed, she said simply. Some opportunities only come once in a lifetime. She wasn't looking at her phone or her laptop as she said it, she was looking at Lily, and then at him. A year after Lily first called Emma mommy, Mark proposed. They married in a small ceremony with Lily as their flower girl. In her wedding vows, Emma thanked Mark for showing her that family wasn't a distraction from success, it was the most meaningful success of all. Which brings us back to that boardroom, where executives waited uncomfortably for Mark's explanation about why his daughter called their CEO Mommy. Mark looked at Emma, then at the curious faces around the table. "My daughter calls Emma Mommy," he said clearly, "because that's who Emma chose to be for her. Not because she had to, but because she wanted to. Because sometimes family isn't just who you're born to, it's who you choose to love." Emma's professional composure cracked completely as she lifted Lily into her arms, not caring about the wrinkles in her designer suit or the smudges from Lily's chocolate cookie. Meeting adjourned, she announced to her stunned executives. "Family emergency." She winked at Mark over Lily's head. As they walked out together, CEO, project manager, and the little girl who had brought them together, Mark reflected on how life's most painful losses sometimes lead to unexpected gifts. He had lost Sophia, but in his grief, he'd found a new kind of family. Not a replacement, but an addition. A different shape of love. And Lily? She simply knew she had a daddy who had never left her side and a mommy who had chosen her, completely and without reservation. In her 4-year-old wisdom, she understood something many adults never grasp, that family is built not just through blood, but through daily acts of love and presence. Sometimes the most powerful connections in our lives come when we least expect them, from people we never imagined would become essential. And sometimes, the most meaningful title isn't CEO or manager or director, it's simply mommy or daddy, spoken with complete trust by a child who knows they are loved. If this story touched your heart, please like this video and subscribe to our channel. Remember that family isn't always defined by biology, sometimes it's defined by who shows up, who stays, and who loves without condition. Thank you for watching.